The whole point of this video is to share how my thought process has changed, why it's changed, and what to expect from my content if you're following me here on YouTube or on Instagram, but also, most importantly, how you can apply this to your own business. 6 months ago, I hit a wall pretty hard. I stopped thinking about my business. I stopped posting content. I just really didn't know what I was gonna do with my life and whether or not this direction was the right direction for me. So what did I do? I packed up and I did a month-long road trip. I just left my house in Austin, Texas, made it all the way to Oregon. I did the California coast and I came back around and I learned a lot. I was allowed to be more grounded and present and I wasn't super anxious. And somewhere out there, it finally clicked. I think that the one good thing that came out of that trip is what I'm sharing here with you today. Let's just jump in. I hope you can kind of relate to what I'm feeling. I was feeling really stuck at the place I was in my life. It's now almost 13 months since I was let go from my corporate marketing job. The first 6 months was me just handling the burnout and just being okay with being unemployed. I was actually very happy with having this freedom back in my day and being able to do whatever I wanted. And then I kept debating, should I go into freelancing and use my corporate skills that way? I think the difference between being a freelance marketer and having a marketing agency is just the vision that you have for your company. A freelancer likes the freedom of just working when they want to work, but then they don't have to think about anything else at the end of the day and they close their laptop and they're done. Whereas a marketing agency owner wants something they can grow. I was kind of stuck at this crossroads. I felt like, well, I was kind of being forced into freelancing, but I also didn't want to see it in that way because I almost felt more discouraged and I felt more negative. It's a really slippery slope. While I was feeling all this stuff, I was over here making YouTube videos. I personally think we're doing very well given my platform. Thank you so much for all of you that are here and that are watching this. I realized that I was showing up very like talking head expert. I'm over here behind this glass screen telling you what to do. I realized that I was just not being authentic. I watch a lot of YouTubers in completely different niches. The most important thing that all of them have in common, their channel has a story that they're taking someone through, and that's how you really connect with them. And I wasn't doing that. So I had to ask myself, if I wasn't gonna quit and I was gonna continue down this path, how do I make this sustainable? How do I make this something that's enjoyable? How do I make this something that I can consistently do at least a video a week or a couple a month? And that's where I had a strategy shift. And I decided to scrap everything that I had done before and start fresh. The 3 things I was looking for: making it really easy so that it's repeatable and consistent, feeling natural when I'm doing it so that I didn't feel like my energy was completely drained. And 3 was feeling connected to the values and the mission of why I started in the first place. The first thing that I completely scrapped when I came back to the drawing board is a niche. I'm ditching that pressure to have a very specific niche. I'm referring a lot more to the content pillars within your niche. That's what leads you into that boring content that's not going to get high engagement. For me, for example, it's marketing that moves people. That is more tied to a value that I have. That is, to me, a lot easier to come up with content ideas because it's tied to my value system, and so I feel like I have a lot to say about it. I'm referring to like how you're going to create your content so that you are different, right? So that you're not out there spitting facts about your niche, but rather you are providing a new perspective and something that's more refreshing to see. One of the big ways is motivation and inspiration, and that will come through storytelling. That's where you're going to have those founder-led stories of the process that you're building something. But I think storytelling has a big place in our market right now because with AI, they can't really search a story. The story is there to create an emotion, have you learn from the lessons that person went through. And it's a lot more human than top 3 tips for Instagram success. The second way that I've seen success is content that makes action feel really doable. Templates, done for you content, frameworks and formulas, something that you have already tried and has worked well for you that you then pass along to your viewers. If I go to ChatGPT, I'm not going to find your special framework. Your special framework came from your personal experiences in this world, your lessons, the things that you have done, and you created a formula for that, a framework that someone else can follow. This can also be in things like a series or challenges, and I've done that really well here on my YouTube. I did like 2 different series at least. I personally like them. I think it's easier to create content when you do a series because you have this clear path of a transformation in mind and every video links together. I highly recommend that as a way to make whatever action you're trying to get your audience to do very doable and very relaxed. And the third way to get people to solve that execution problem is helping them with more of a bird's eye view. If I am stuck in my day-to-day and I'm overwhelmed and I'm anxious about what I have to do next, I'm not thinking about the whole reason I even did this to begin with. I can lose a lot of steam and it's easy to quit at that point. So this bird's eye view, it's more about us as a community. It's about the lessons learned through the journey. None of this stuff is ChatGPT-able. All of the stuff I'm telling you are things that only you as a human can do. And that's what makes it intriguing for someone to follow you. And that's what I want to do as my shift on all of my platforms. Here's how I'm going to take everything I just said and put it into a clear action plan. I've got 2 Instagram accounts, a TREYA Digital Instagram and a Rise with Chris Instagram. Please go ahead and follow the TREYA Digital account. It's still a new account. I don't even have like 15 posts on it yet. The TREYA Digital Instagram account is going to be the place for all things marketing. All things agency, all things client related are going to go into that Instagram account. My Rise with Chris Instagram is a little bit more about me. It's going to be more on like the behind the scenes as I'm growing my business, as well as wellness, because that's a huge part of my life, and the routines that I'm doing to maintain consistency with growing the business. And that's how I'm tying these 2 together. You'll see the personal side and the business side. My YouTube is where all of this comes together and deliver you a little bit of everything. I want you to see the things that I'm struggling with. I want to be real with you. I want to share the thoughts I'm having, the tools I've tried, the different strategies that I'm switching to, and all of that. And that's what I'm going to be doing here on this YouTube channel. The overwhelm comes from having 3 different channels or platforms that I have to manage and juggle while I'm trying to actually juggle potential client work. And I've tried to make this really easy. And because again, that was one of my goals, is make this easy and sustainable. In the grand scheme of the week, I would have a talking head video with educational expertise content. I'm calling it Ask Me Anything, Even If You Didn't. So I'll pull questions from comments, from Reddit, and I'll answer them the way I believe it should be answered. And turning that into that carousel, and then 1 weekly longer vlog. So that will be like a 30 to 60 seconds. That's where you get to see relatability, I guess. Showing a little behind the scenes, I think, is important. And then I have 2 like trend videos. And that's where I'm at right now, just because that seems manageable, because that literally means I'm only filming twice a week. Same with Rise with Chris. I'd have something very similar. 1 day a week, I check in on a series that I'm going to be doing called the Rise Reset. Each letter stands for a healthy habit that I want to try to maintain for the week. So then I'll share with you whether or not I was able to stick to it, how I'm sticking to it, and how I'm staying consistent and juggling everything. The other video is going to be a vlog, basically a copycat of my vlog on my TREYA Digital account. And then a couple different relatable trend type of clips and a carousel of the lessons I'm learning or what I'm grateful for this week to introduce intentional living and being present in the moment. My whole thing when I went into my short form content is how can I repurpose as much as I can so I don't have to film a whole lot, but also making sure that every post that I create doesn't really have a ChatGPT-able answer to it. Everything that I'm sharing, you can only get from me and from the stories that we're going through. This is just what is working for me right now. So we've got storytelling, we've got the done for you frameworks and the series idea. Then we've got the third, which is more of that bird's eye level view, more community focused, more future forward thinking. I'm going to rotate between 3 different types of videos: you, me, and we. I love this because it's a lot easier for me to plan that way. You content is really more about giving you tools to make you succeed, giving you the frameworks, giving you systems that I'm using, different tools that I have used. Me is going to be sharing behind the scenes to make it interesting for me to film things that I want to film, what I'm going through, my thoughts, my day. And then we is just the collective community of people who are business owners tackling this every single day, because I want it to feel like we are in this together, where we focus on what are we going to do about AI, trends, Instagram updates, the TikTok ban, and how are we going to take all this information so that we can be better at our jobs. Those are the 3 types of videos that I'm going to be talking about. I think this was pretty long-winded, but I really hope that it shared with you something that maybe you were also struggling with. There is no light at the end of the tunnel with content creation. It's always going to be a hamster wheel. The only thing that you can do is fine-tune your process so everything is more efficient, but it's never going to end. It's not like a project that you can complete and say, okay, I'm done. If you're interested in all of this, the next video I'm going to share is my Notion template. I created an entire social media content planner and dashboard that's going to walk me through my own content creation process and show the production schedule, shows how I'm just keeping everything organized. I've literally downloaded 100 different templates for social media content, and this is it. This is the one that works for me. I love it so much, and I'm never feeling like, where is that? And overwhelmed and confused. I think that I've got a really good solution here. If you're interested, that's going to be the next video after this. And let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or concerns. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.